Good Monday morning. What a beautiful day here again in Nebraska. I do anticipate we will be back to harvesting soybeans with the combine. Have a little bit of work on the head. I need to replace a couple sickles, a couple guards. Let's go to the old shop to see if I have some underneath poly skids that I purchased last year. Remember, I have the same bean head that I ran last year, the last couple of years. I just put it on a new combine. They are still sitting here in the old shop. Man, I must not use this old shop very often, or I need to go through and clean this entire thing out. I really only use it for cold storage from time to time, but I think it's time to go through and organize this since we pretty much moved to the new shop 10 years ago, and this does not get used. But I'm glad I found these. I bought way too many last year and I was going to return them. I don't know if they are still returnable, but now I can use them on my old bean head. Super excited. Oh, and we're doing out at the bin site, the grain leg. We're getting rebar installed. We're getting ready to pour concrete for the footings for my new overhead bin, which has not shown up yet, which maybe won't show up for another month, but at least we can get the concrete poured. So we're gonna reroute hoses down in the bottom of the pit. Well, I'll just show you. All right, we are now in the grain pit, and here's the old conduit that Dad and I built. One is for an electrical cord, and one is for the hose. So there is a sump in the bottom there. Put this lid back on. There's a sump pump. This is a well casing that's perforated, and we dug a hole and went all the way down in so we can run that pump, and it will pump out the juice. I'll show you what it looks like on the top side, but then we'll have to come in here for the solids and bucket this out with a 5-gallon bucket. One of the nastier jobs on the farm happens to happen once a year. It's not my favorite, but it's got to be done before we can get to corn harvest. All right, so this is where it used to come out. I guess I'll show you up here. So we got big footings dug in here, and this will all be concreted with our overhead. So electrician, Tim, thank you. Came out, wired and plumber and electrician, right? Do you need anything else? Yes, that would be fantastic. Anyway, all the juice gets pumped out here, hopefully, and this will all be cemented over to there. So we got the cord plug in to plug in back over there, I believe. Now is the moment of truth. You guys want to see nasty. This should be everything from the pit. Yay. It works. Ooh. Can you smell that through the phone? That is 1-year-old rotten corn, folks. But that is everything. We do not have to bucket out manually with a 5-gallon bucket. So good fix. Thanks, Dad. Genius idea. Great build a couple years ago. One of the better ways to clean out a pit. Doing head maintenance, I first wanted to indicate that I have this safety block in place so it physically cannot lower or drop the head. Even though we don't hang out under the head, you want to remember those safety guards in place. It's very easy to put in. Here is one of the shoe skids that I need to build and put together. As you can see, it's pretty well worn out. Pull this out, knock this down, and rebuild that one. Kale, are you ever going to take us along to harvest with you for a day or at night? Sorry about that, harvested late last night. It's always neat to come back during the daylight hours and see how good or bad a job you did at night. Super dusty, no wind, couldn't see a thing. Great lights on the combine. But we've got we got 2 trucks full, 2 grain carts full. I've got my guy, Trucker Greg, coming in to haul a load for us. Oops, left the windows down on that truck. It's humid and foggy, damp this morning. Those tires look suspicious. Suspiciously low. Kale, did you clean the camera lenses before you started filming? I don't know. You tell me below in the comments if the camera lens is dirty or not. Half the time filming it probably is going to be too early in the morning, or it's too damp to cut soybeans, even though this machine would power through it. We're gonna haul a couple loads in to the co-op and dump them to make room for more harvest. I'm trying to decide what field to move to next. Help me make a decision. Ooh, that's a pretty truck. And grain cart. And combine. We'll do maintenance as well too this morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, horses. Want a race? They're pretty. I win. They're not into it. Nice truck. All right, kind of give you an update. You're probably wondering what the 5-ton is doing. No, I did not put it out to pasture, but it is in the pasture. Oh, here comes the puppy dogs. I have a pivot pad that I excavated, and it was sitting on the side of my road. Megan and I and the kids, well, everybody that drives this road was tired of it in the way. It is a big hunk of concrete. That's a big chunk. And I was pulling it with my 8R 340 just fine on flat ground. Pulled it down the hill. Pulling it up the hill, my tractor no longer had enough traction. So my idea is to pull it probably with a 5-ton and the tractor, but I need 2 people. I should probably call Grant. The dogs are barking. Most of the time they just ignore the horses, but they're maybe barking at me. Like, what am I doing? Anyway, would you like to see that content of pulling this block of concrete? I wonder how much it weighs. I'll measure it. There's probably some math that can be done to figure out how much it weighs. My telehandler can't lift it. Maybe both the telehandlers, the Lowell and the JLG, could maybe lift it, but my excavator wouldn't lift it in one chunk. I had to pry it out and flip it over. I'm really curious what that block weighs. Tight and narrow hallway. We are going to start the Volvo. I don't remember if I put this out on a video or not, but we ran over the truck with a pivot and bent the door. And then I fixed the door with my telehandler. I pushed in right there, but it is still bent in the frame and does not close, and the window doesn't work. But it's a Volvo day cab. It just goes. Can you guys see anything? See, these old garbage trucks, not a garbage truck, piece of junk, it's not a piece of junk. These ratty old trucks, they just run and drive. It's a cheap way to transport your grains and goods safely. We'll get a little bit more airflow. We have somewhat of a breeze now. It's still damp. I don't have any soybeans to pinch and chew to test the moisture, but we are going to grind on them because it will only get better. I'll start slow, grind, and I'll maybe stop or I'll keep going. With this machine, I can probably keep going, but we got to be careful not to plug the rotor and spit soybeans out the back. Should we open up the rotor and see if the concaves were plugged? Let's fire it up because we need to warm it up anyway. And then we'll take a peek inside the guts of a beast. Okay, it looks very clean. I'm surprised. I thought I was plugging a bit last night. Essentially what this does, it's a huge cylinder drum with knuckles on it. And it spins around pretty fast. And soybeans up to 700 revolutions per minute. And then it presses the soybeans or corn through these grates. This is a large wire round bar, which Jesse helped me out, Jesse Williams. Is this what I want? Did you put these in here? These might be Jesse's. He sometimes comes to my shop and switches things out to make things go better without me knowing, just fixing it. If you did, thank you. Anyway, we'll probably, once I get my boys out here so I can have more cameramen, I'll leave this open and then I'll run it while I'm driving so you can see what actually happens on the inside of a machine. Then the soybeans fall through those little grates, and there's a fan underneath that blows air up through and blows the dust, stems, and shells out, and the soybeans go to the bottom to an auger up into a grain tank above my head. I think I can do a lot better job explaining the combine if I maybe just take one day explaining the ins and outs of a combine, which combine is combining harvesting and threshing. I think. Somebody look that up for me. Cold start. It's not very cold. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful September day in Nebraska. Apparently this pivot is still sad or just tired and taking a nap. It'll be nice to get that fixed so I don't have to look at it. Insurance dude came out and investigated the situation. Hopefully we can get that rectified shortly. Or erectified. Is that a word? Does that make sense? Get it put back up. Well, harvest has been going really pretty well. I moved fields. Oh, timeout. We have a fox coyote. That is probably a coyote. And what is he gonna do? Probably sneak through and hide in the soybeans. Well, he won't be able to hide for very long. There's probably rabbits, squirrels, and mice bouncing around that he's able to capture. Anyway, I moved fields. Yields are a lot better over here. I did slug the combine, and I de-slugged it, which is an interesting operation. Never done it before. On this flagship Series 8, Class 8 combine. Oh, there's a rabbit right there. I'll talk while you guys watch nature. You can see right there is the rabbit. I was able to figure it out and de-slug it, so not a very fun experience for me, the farmer, so I didn't think about recording it, documenting it for my YouTube audience. Mr. Rabbit's gonna make it. Where is the coyote? He was up here on my left. I do not see him. I've got my hand ready on the emergency stop so no animals will be run through the machine. They might be run through the yoke. There's birds out there as well too. Oh, there I see him. He's way up there. He's way up there, hanging out. All sorts of fun things, fun activities happening. Anyway, that probably won't be the last time I slug it. I ran a bunch of dirt from the end rows in, and it just ground to a halt. But very interesting operation to deslug the rotor and deslug the draper head. I better focus on the animals ahead of me. If anything interesting happens, I got my phone ready. I will record. Disappeared, and Mr. Rabbit is still safe running ahead of my sickles. Oh, apparently my task file is full. What does that mean? It just automatically reset. You can do different tasks, and I've been harvesting over 40 acres on the same file, so lots of data, lots of information in this dealy hopper. Okay, where did we leave off? We left off Kale going to a meeting. Meeting just got out. Fog burned away. So I'm getting a little bit late to the field this afternoon. It is here now, 2 o'clock. Man, time flies. And this is Laura's old fuel trailer. My new fuel trailer. I bought it from Laura, and then she bought a new one. Got an upgrade. But this is the old fuel trailer that was here 2 years ago by Laura, but it was on my farm. Never knew I needed a fuel trailer. Always wanted a fuel trailer. Didn't know I needed one until I had one, and then it was taken away from me, so I set out to buy one. And I'm so glad I ended up with this one. Anyway, we must get cutting soybeans. It's beautiful out, so let me first get the ladder down from the combine, just like so, and fuel it up. We'll remove the gas caps. All right, I saw everybody on my daughter's YouTube channel guessing on how many gallons her combine would take, her green combine. How many gallons do you guess this machine will take? Wonderful thing about having an onboard air compressor, I can clean out the air filter as we fill up with diesel and diesel exhaust fluid. Double duty, well, triple duty if you figure air. Here's a hint on your guesses. Again, really can't say enough about these fuel trailers, especially since we need extra fuels and lubricants. Time to cut beans. Good morning. New day, new video. A lot going on. Imagine that. We're going to take the JLG, put on a man basket, bring it out to the field, because on the red grain cart, a bearing went out. A bearing pillow block broke, and so that top cross auger has to fit into the bottom auger and slide down into the U-joint to run soybeans. It's not doing that, So I've hired a guy, called somebody to fix it. Even though I can fix it, we can bring it back here. It's loaded in the field. It's breezy. I need to be cutting soybeans. Actually, everything's loaded. Trucker will be back in about an hour. So let's get JLG out so we don't have to use a step ladder. It'll be a little bit easier to lift the mat up into position to wrench on the bearing. Could be seized, could be a problem, but having a platform to stand on, even if it's 6 feet in the air, makes a lot of sense. Ooh, let's get my American flag back on my combine. I'll grab one of those. Parking brake off, and hopefully this has good enough in here. Not knock anything over. Oh, absolutely. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but good. Not too good. Yeah, so the block just broke. Not a bad fix. It had grease and everything. We're not sure what happened, but look at this platform to work off of. Makes it much safer and more better. So we'll have Matt do it. Now we will get the combine going. You want to see $130 worth of soybeans, or you want to see $13,000 worth of soybeans. This is what it looks like. Here's the value. Yeah, once it broke, I had to put a little pile on the ground, so we'll get that cleaned up. Is it worth it to clean up $130 worth? $260 worth? Probably over there. Yes, it is, before it rains. What a beautiful day. A little bit breezy, so soybeans will cut, and cut well. One thing is for sure, I do need to clean out this cab. I did remember my cooler signature series. That's neat. I got that from Kaz Gear. They built it for me. Check out Kaz Gear. My hats are sold out and still sold out, but message the leadership at Kaz Gear and see if they can produce more hats to sell. Those sell out fast. You guys have been buying a lot of my merchandise. Thank you very much. Actually, and there's also a lot of other social media content creators on Kaz Gear, sponsored by Kaz Gear, that have a lot of great content and a lot of great gear. Anyway, got to clean out the cab, and we'll do a start here to empty out the back of all of these soybeans, and then start harvesting. Maybe get the truck and fuel trailer. Well, absolute perfect timing, Greg. Thank you. Grain cart's full, and I am 100% full. Cleaning up these rows so that I can take 14 rows. This is like 16 or 18 wide. I will dump into Greg, and then he will be off to market. Haul these to the co-op, and I can keep harvesting. Dad's here, checking out the entire operation. Oh, and I think I have some special guests coming in from Iowa on a world tour, I believe. So we'll see who we can get into this season. So far this month, I've talked to Argentinians, Chileans, and who else? Who else do you think we will have in this seat as far as international travelers? Let's get the unloading auger swung out. Well, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there is a mama deer and a baby deer hiding out in the soybeans. They blend in so well. combines take fuel, and running businesses just take expense. Fueling up just with diesel right now, not diesel exhaust. I think I can finish this side by the end of today. Beautiful breezy day. I didn't really have much to say when I got on here, other than I'm not harvesting because we're fueling up, so I get to take a 4.5 minute break for a second. They did not get the red grain cart fixed. They'll fix that tomorrow, and we'll be back in tomorrow. If it's still breezy and hot, we'll be able to finish this field and move home. Try to quickly grab it. Things happen here quickly. I think my belt is coming apart. I'll try to film it here real quick. You can see there's a piece of that belt that is torn off, and it keeps getting whipped around there. It's like a, I thought it was a snake for a second, and you know, it'll either fix itself, or actually, if that comes off and goes through the combine.
You see the starter and the picture?
Uh-oh. What else going on? All right, here's the belt. There's the, ooh, that's warm. That's the track, the groove that it runs in. I better go ahead and order a new pad. Oh, let's see here. I'll cut this off and keep going. Yeah, that's not good. We better probably better get 2 new belts, and maybe get them ordered in case it takes a day or 2 to get them to. What about the center belt? Should we replace that at the same time? Maybe get a new bean head. There's no time. No, it's not. There we go. All right, folks, decision-making time. Do I try to put the combine, the pivot is in my way all the way. Oh, beautiful moon, by the way, tonight. Pivot is walking, pivot is moving, but it's in my way. Do I try to squeeze the combine in through there? You can see where I mowed a little path. Do I squeeze in right through there? Or do I, that's the pivot point right there, drive all the way down here and make a new cut? Or do I wait? By the time I get to the other end of the field, this will probably be out of the way. Let's let smarter minds prevail, and let's be risk adverse for tonight. It's evening. We had a huge day, great day. Let's just drive around. You love this combine anyway, Kale. Just drive it. Drive it like you bought it.